So Adam,
Yep.
man walks into a bar.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Two men walk into a bar.
Yeah.
One of them should have seen it.
Ooh, badum.
Dude. Hi, I'm Adam,
And I'm Darren.
and you're listening to another episode of Opinionated.
So what do you want to talk about this week?
I thought we'd do a little bit of a different episode rather than all the opinions. We'll throw some opinions in there, but talk about some drunken stories.
Drunken stories,
And
right.
maybe some gig stories, all that stuff.
And drunken gig stories.
Yeah, because they're usually one and the same, aren't they?
Yes. So, as always, we've done something different today. We got a page, so like, join, whatever, leave a comment. Anything you want us to talk about. If you've got something interesting you want to say, and we can arrange to do a chat with you and whoever, we can do that.
Yeah, I think we'll revisit all the episodes that we do, but with guests as well.
That'd be
So
a
we
good
get
idea. Yeah.
An extra opinion that isn't just ours.
Yeah. So, just on a side note, we did record an episode the other week.
We did. It was supposed to come out for this Saturday so that we could do a weekly episode.
Yeah, and it was a really good one, and it got a little bit, it was intense. It was very thought-provoking. It was about a lot of things that are going on and have been going on in the media. But unfortunately,
The file got corrupted.
so maybe the people or the power that be doesn't need that coming out just yet. So we might revisit that as well.
They're listening.
Yeah,
There's another conspiracy.
yeah.
They're all linked.
So anyway, so if we think like, how many times have we just like gone to a pub
Quite a few.
just
Quite
after
a few.
work? Yeah,
Yeah, when we used to work at Boys Club.
yeah.
Go down to Whitefriars.
Everything starts at Whitefriars, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just
it was
walk
pretty
into
much,
Whitefriars. That's where it used to be.
It was pretty much the first local that I had. Because when I started at Boys Club, I was 16, wasn't I? So, first actual local that was legal and everything.
Yeah.
It was, the Whitefriars.
A lot of people that like got involved with the boys' club and helped out down there. They used to come, and it used to be just to go de-stress. It was just a really good time. And this is kind of what these chats are like. It's like the kind of chats that we used to have, like me, you, Carl, Grizzle, Sean. You know, we just all sit there talking bollocks until the wee small hours, and then we do the same again 2 days later. It'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
So, have you got any great fond memories of Whitefriars?
Many. I think the bulk of my drinking memories would probably be Whitefriars. So it was always the Boys Club stuff. After going there, that's how me and Lionel and Carl became as good friends as we are and still are.
Yeah.
Although not seen them in person for a long ass time now.
Do you know what? It's just a horrible world.
But
Pubs need to open. That's what needs to happen.
I think us three used to be sort of the last ones left in there.
Yes, we did. It would always be, what was his name? Matt. Geezer behind the bar. Yeah.
I remember loads of people that worked behind the bar.
So
At that time, it was just changing all the time.
Yeah, so back then, it was a revolving door around the bar, but I think the guy that actually held the licence for the place was called Matt. Big chap. He'd only ever be in on a Friday. But yeah, I think every student that ever went to Cov Uni for a term or a half and then became a dropout just went and worked at the bar there.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm sure. I don't remember exactly. I'm sure Tom Harris worked there for a bit.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Well, Tom, if you're there and you remember and you hear your name, you can comment and go, "No, I didn't bloody work there."
Yeah.
Well, yes, you did.
I'm sure he did, but I might be wrong. There's a lot of people worked there for a time. There was a kid called Jack Daniel Case. So Jack Daniels. That's pretty funny. He had tongue bars for lip, snake bite piercings in your lips.
Yeah.
But he put tongue bars there. He was an interesting character.
That was the thing about Whitefriars. It was a very interesting sort of place to be. It was a good place. They put music on, and people used to play either indoors or out the back. They used to do the beer festivals. You get a good selection of people, and different age groups as well. So people of my age wouldn't feel uncomfortable, walking into a pub with loads of guys or girls with coloured hair and great big donuts in their ear rolls.
It was like a real pub as as well, and everything's all wood and falling apart. It's really old. It
It's
stinks
really old.
of alcohol
Yeah,
that's been
it's
there
a really
since the
old
20s.
building, and it's slate floor, isn't it? It's like
It's what-
flagstone floor.
And then
It's
at the same
uneven.
time, one of the rare places that actually had a decent jukebox,
Yeah, yeah.
which I virtually should have probably owned it by the time it closed down. The
And
amount of money I put into that.
And they used to do a good breakfast.
I never went for the breakfast.
Did you not?
I've never been for it.
I used to
no.
go in there and have the breakfast. Oh, it was great.
Do you know the barrels that used to be near the back door
Yeah.
are now in the Oak Inn?
Really?
Yeah. I walked in now at one point, I think I was with Grizz, and I just, like, my jaw dropped and I was pointing to the corner for ages until he realised, what are you doing? I was like, do you not recognise the barrels?
Do you think they just went round and robbed?
The barrels are from Whitefriars. I had to actually take a photo and send them to Carl. I think I sent you it as well.
Yeah. I could have had one of them in my house.
Whitefriars. Memories from Whitefriars, though.
Great kitchen table that would make.
I met girlfriend Kerry
All right.
in Whitefriars 4 and a bit years ago, because I started going back there again when I met Andrew and joined a band with Andrew.
Yeah.
So I joined a band with Andrew. That's how I met Joe. We went to Whitefriars after that. It was like a tradition. Every Thursday or Friday we had a practice. We go to Whitefriars. One of them weeks I met Kerry.
Nice. So that's what's missing in the world, isn't it? Pubs.
Yeah, man.
Pubs, places for people to hang out and talk bollocks whilst having a drink.
Whitefriars was the one.
Yeah.
That was just to sit. Whereas like the Oak, which like a lot of people either bash that or love it, depending on what kind of person you are.
Or what time of day you go in.
Yeah, I used to
you
go
in
in
later.
there.
It's not always good.
I used to go in, if it was arranging something, we'd go in sort of 9 o'clock when it was quiet and it was alright, you could just get the jukebox, but I would always end up probably leaving there around 5.
Yeah.
When the sun's coming up and the birds are chirping, I'm still there.
Good thing to do. So, like I said, I mean, I played a gig there with M5N. I think one of the last gigs I played with M5N
You did,
was there.
I was there.
That's the one where I cut my fingers open. Yeah, I was
Yeah, that's
bleeding
the
all
one.
over the place.
You
Yeah.
did you play there a couple of times?
Yeah.
Or was
We
it just
played out.
that
We
one?
played out the back a couple of times.
I don't think I saw you at the back. I saw you at the front, right next to the front door.
Yeah.
Where it was really cramped and there was
Yeah.
pillars in the way and a piano in the way.
Yeah, it was mad. I played in the
That's
window.
the one where you, that's the one where you cut your fingers.
Yeah, because
And the glass guns paid as well.
Yeah, I take like the biggest guitar I own in the biggest guitar case, the great big dime Razorback thing, and I took one of my Gibsons as well, and I flicked the tip off my finger, and it just bled all over them. Good gigs. That's how they should be.
It was quite amusing that you pulled out the Razorback and then played the slow version of In This River.
In this river.
It's like-
Yeah.
You thought you was going to go, oh, here comes Cowboys from Hell or something,
Yeah.
and no.
Nah, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I go into guitar shops. In the old days, I used to go into guitar shops with my hair down and stuff, pick the spikiest thing off the wall, and then just play some like jazz or something, because everybody just looks at you then like, no, that's not what they expect. So I remember we go over there, and I think back in the day, Grizz was the one that was really, really bad at drinking.
Was
I know.
Sorry, Grizz, but yeah, you're still really, really bad at drinking.
No, but like, because he was new to it, it affected him really quick with him being, you know what I mean? He was such a rebel.
He was a late bloomer kind of guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know who he is, some people might, some people listening might know him, some people will go, I remember him. Lionel Grizzle.
Pretty much everybody seems to know him.
Yeah.
And everyone loves him.
So
Great guy.
I've known Lionel a very long time, and I remember when it was his birthday and he was legal, so we took him out and bought him a drink and all that kind of stuff, which is a rite of passage that sort of happened to a lot of people, and it would be Whitefriars, and yeah, he gets wankered quick.
Yeah. I think that might be a thing to revisit in the future, is to try and get 2 guests and get Carl and Lionel in, because if you want to hear any drunk stories about Carl or Lionel, them two drank together. At that time, they drank together more than we drank as a 3.
Absolutely.
It wasn't sort of till a few years later where I became more frequent in their drinking.
Yeah.
And they've got some stories about each other they do that people would quite like to hear, I think.
See, that's the thing, isn't
They'd
it?
laugh at
If
that.
you go out and you're just drinking with your buddies, yeah, there's a good chance that there's all those dares that come in.
Yeah.
You know, so you start playing dare games at the end of the evening or the beginning of the evening, depending on how wankered you are, and then somebody ultimately remembers it, and other people then don't. So it's usually the most embarrassed one that doesn't remember it, which is why it's really going to be good to get them in and figure out who's got the most biggest stories on who.
I have one about Andrew people, Andrew Williams, had like a dare thing. I don't remember what it was, but anyone who knows Andrew knows he's quite loud. And when he drinks, he gets louder somehow.
Just when you don't think it's possible. Andrew, we love you, mate. It's one of them.
Yeah,
but it is
knows,
absolutely true.
He knows he gets loud. It's just fine. It's nothing offensive. He knows he's loud. But there was something, and I think he gets to an annoying point at some point in the night as well if you're drinking with him, and you're just like, oh, fuck's sake. And I think I just sort of muttered, oh, I'm going to hit you in a minute. I didn't mean nothing by it. It was just like, just shut up. I'm going to hit you in a minute. And he got proper in my face and started daring me to. And because he was like proper close, I thought, no, you know what? So I just dropped the nut right on his nose. But he doesn't remember that. Kerry was there. She doesn't remember that. I did it next to his dad. His dad was sat next to me.
See, I know you, and I know Andrew really well, and I know you would have done it.
Yeah, I nutted him. He had his glasses on at the same time, so it probably hurt.
Yeah. But
he thought it was funny afterwards, so it didn't hurt him too much. We also drank out of Dave's leg that day.
Oh, is that the one?
Yeah, if anyone doesn't know, Andrew's dad is in a wheelchair, lost his leg, and we drank out of it that night.
It takes that drinking out of a glass slipper to a whole new level.
I think it was Carlsberg, so it tasted horrible.
So
anyway.
It would have tasted like shit anyway,
tasted shit anyway.
From a rotting stump.
We cleaned the stump. To be fair, like we cleaned the stump with like anti-bac wipes first, and then like so you could taste that as well.
Nice.
It did not work out very well.
Who else do we know who goes out and does wacky things? So we can take it down a different route actually, because you've been in a lot of bands, I've been in a lot of bands. Most people that listen to what we do seem to have been in a lot of bands. And there's that whole having a drink to prep yourself beforehand, having one or two, or some practices. So have you ever been to a practice where somebody's just got literally wankered at the practice? You don't have to mention any names.
I wouldn't say, I don't know if he got wankered, but drunk, yeah. They've drank a bit too much that they should have.
Yeah.
Whereas it kind of creeps in, like they have a can of practice, that's fine.
Yeah,
then they have two
cans.
And then the next practice is like 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've experienced that. I've never really drank much at practices. I've drank.
Yeah, I'd like to have one or two.
I don't think I've had more than two
really.
cans at practice before. I don't really like to do it. I don't drink before gigs either.
No.
I've only ever done that once.
I think that last gig we had in Wales is probably one of the only times I've ever had a drink.
I didn't even have a drink of that.
While I'm on stage, you know what I mean? I normally have water or whatever.
I don't think I have a drink before playing that either.
But that was that moment where Tom was excited by the beer stein, and then he was more excited by the bottle.
Yeah.
And they brought me the bottle with the baby beer in it.
Road Crew on tap.
Yeah, Road Crew on tap. So he was excited. Bless him. So I remember probably in my sort of early 40s, I was in like a poppy band, and we used to do bits and bobs, and I remember playing a gig dressed as a girl in a skirt with pretend boobs and everything, my hair in bunches. It's quite a sight for sore eyes. There's probably a picture on my Facebook somewhere. But that gig I remember playing, and I wasn't driving, and there was lots of people just kept putting beer in front of me. And I don't normally bother, but it was can after can after can. And somebody said to me afterwards, they went, it was probably about a day or whatever later, they went, I don't know how you managed to play and not fall over. I said, did I move? They went, no, you stood still. I went, that's how I managed to do it then.
Was you in a really wide guitar stance?
Yeah.
Burying yourself into the floor.
Yeah, deep. And I think I was playing a flying V, which is always handy because you can get into a good stance with that. And if you're going to fall over, you can use it kind of like a walking stick. But yeah, that's the only gig I've ever played where I remember that I actively went out of my way to get drunk.
That reminds me of another story at Centre Coventry, which we played a few times now.
I was thinking about that when we was talking about Andrew.
I wasn't thinking of Andrew.
Were you not?
No.
Which one are you thinking of?
I was thinking when I was in Slack Alice.
All right.
It wasn't even his fault. It was just a fucking mistake. It was Callum McKissock, for people in Coventry who know. Someone, while he was performing, he was like getting into it in the crowd and that, because there's no barrier or anything, there's no stage, you're just right there in a social club with them. And someone offered him a flask.
All right.
So it wasn't a beer, it was just a flask. He didn't know what was in the flask. I don't think we still know what was in the flask, but it fucked him up.
Yeah.
But he was fucked after that. I think he only had like a couple of swigs out of it, and then by the time he came off, he was throwing up.
I wonder if that's why he called
fucked.
that other band Brass Hip Flask. I wonder if that's where he
I
got the name.
never even thought about that.
Callum, answer that one for us.
Yeah, give us an answer for that. I never even thought about that.
No, I was just thinking.
Yeah, just randomly offered a flask and necked it. We had about one song left. We was going to close it with as we always did with Ghost Remains back then.
Yeah.
And he was like, I can't do this song because there's massive high note at the end of it. It's like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And James, I didn't know what he said because I'm on drums. He said it to James, and James was like, nah, fuck that, we're playing. And he just carried on, and he refused. He just didn't do the high note, so James had to try and do it. And okay, that was it. That's the end of the show. Everyone claps and whatever. And he just fucking legs it and throws up in a bin.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind knowing what he was drinking, actually. That makes sense.
I'm not sure if it was the same year that someone had some like high level rum that I tried one year, and it was really nice. But a couple of swigs, I don't think it was enough to really fuck you.
I remember one year we played there, and Steve Morton, he had that Dead Man's Fingers.
Yeah.
The coffee flavoured one.
Nice.
And he's like, yeah, try this. I'm like, yeah, okay. But yeah, rum can be a problem.
It can, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Especially, I don't think at the time that Callum was used to drinking. I'm not sure what kind of drinker he is, to be fair. So it could have just really fucked. He might have been ill anyway.
Yeah.
And then got into it, made a big mistake. It was kind of like, you're playing, you don't know what's in a flask that some random person's offering you. You probably shouldn't drink that.
Yeah. It's a
but, in the moment.
It's a touchy one, isn't it?
Yeah, that probably shouldn't have happened. But there are some great stories of Centre Coventry and being drunk.
People being drunk, certain people staying over and getting really drunk in the middle of the night. Yeah. We won't talk about that one. You know who you are, though, don't you?
There was a few of us, actually.
Well, we were all drunk.
Who was it? It was me, Andrew, James, Joe.
Yeah, because
Callum was there.
Didn't you go down the bottom with what's his face? Sam.
Yeah.
Sam Martin and Daniel Starkey.
Yeah, so Blackwater theme were there.
Yeah.
So Sam and Dan. Actually, did Dan join us?
Yeah, because
I can't remember. Dan was there, but I can't remember if he joined us. Oh no, it was Carl. It was Carl and Sam.
Yeah, Carl's known for doing
Carl
it
Martin,
as well.
Sam Martin, and Sam had made a mixer. I can't remember what was in it, but yeah, James got fucked on that. Joe, for whatever reason, had us huddled round a hole in the ground, trying to tell us about vampire rabbits or some shit. I don't know I can't remember what it was, but it was insane. We was up until early hours. The sun was coming up by the time it was over. I think Joe tried to drive home.
Yeah.
James didn't let him in the end. I was like, no, you're not doing that.
Good stuff. So yeah, it's just times, isn't there? It's just like, and I think that's where people are at the moment. A lot of people, like, let's be honest, I'll just go and buy a box of beer and then just sit at home at night and drink a box of beer, and it's like, it's not the drinking, it's the people that I'm missing, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest.
It's the socialising aspect.
Yeah.
So yeah, first lockdown, I went on a massive health craze.
Yeah.
I started eating better and working out, and I lost a bit of weight because I was starting to put on a gut a bit because I was drinking loads before that. But I didn't have a drink for 4 months or something.
I think a lot of people made a different choice, didn't they? Some people just went, you know what, it's something different, let's just try not to get caught up in the toxic environment of staying in and drinking too much rum like a pirate. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah, I know there's a lot of people that picked up the drinking loads.
Oh, mine definitely increased, it definitely did. But in the first lockdown, it was better in the first lockdown because if you think about it, the sun was out, the weather was warm.
Yeah, it was
warm. I
warm.
could go out and go for a walk every day. I could do 4 or 5 miles a day and burn off the calories.
Yeah, see, and then
drink the
walk
calories
all
in
the
the
time.
evening. It wouldn't make no difference. I actually lost weight in the beginning, but this one's shit. It's cold.
Yeah, I went on the health craze thing, and then I made the mistake of, I haven't had any cheat meals at all or anything like that, so I'm going to do one at the end of the month. Ordered a Domino's, and the health craze has been gone since.
See that? It all goes out with one topple of a domino.
Literally one pizza
topple of a domino.
did it.
There, boom. Domino effect.
And I've drank since then as well. I don't drink often, but when I do, I drink.
I got into a cheeky habit of going out and buying like different cheap rums and vodkas, and then I noticed that they don't last because I can drink that in an evening.
Yeah.
You know, I can drink seriously ridiculous amounts because I know I don't have to get up. I know I don't have to drive a car, and I think that's where a lot of people's mindsets go, and it's not healthy. It's not productive. Let's be honest. It's not even good for you. And if you were in a pub, you wouldn't drink half as much. And I think the
It costs more money.
Yeah, well, it's not about the cost. I think when you're in a pub, you're in an environment where you're having a laugh, and all sorts of things can happen. Do you know what I mean? You could just have a laugh out at the stupidest of things. Somebody can walk in and say something that just makes everybody burst out laughing. Somebody can walk in that you ain't seen for ages, and everyone just goes crazy like they're accepting the new Messiah or something. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's missing. That's what's missing in at the moment. That's what people are missing.
Yeah, there's no social aspect.
Yeah.
And it's weird this time as well, because at least the first lockdown was actually a lockdown.
Yeah, this is all a bit...
It felt like a lockdown. There was some level of fear in people and taking care because like no one had a clue what was going on. This time, no one has a clue what's going on, but no one cares.
Yeah,
and everything that shouldn't be open seems to be. And we're just left not being able to socialise still.
So the first lockdown, right, B&Q, because I live near B&Q, B&Q was closed, right?
Yeah.
Now it's open. I don't understand why B&Q is open, but I can't go to the gym. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And we don't seem to know what is essential and what isn't, because cash generator's open.
Is it?
Yeah. Lionel works at Cash Generator, so I know that he's working 1 or 2 days a week and they're doing like collection at the door or something. But is it essential?
No, not really.
Oh, I'm in lockdown. I need a DVD player that someone else used to own.
Has it been cleaned? Has it been sprayed? Has it been disinfected? Has it been wiped with an alcohol wipe?
It's just a bit weird, isn't it? Why is it open?
Well, it's one of them, isn't it? So all the restaurants are closed unless they do deliveries or you can do a click and pick. But I saw something about one in Birmingham. In Sheldon, there was a restaurant and they got fined because they were actually doing the click and collect, but they were serving people beer, so they were letting them in, sit down, and selling them drinks. Do you know what I mean? Which is one of them, isn't it? It's not on. But I think it's getting to the point where two things are happening, right? Businesses need to do something because they're not going to survive in hospitality, definitely. And people are just frustrated and pissed off with it all now. Do you know what I mean? And like you say, initially there was a fear. I mean, me and my age, I was like, shit.
It felt like something was happening.
Something
I'd go on
terrible.
walks and I'd ring people, so I'd had conversations with you. I remember you saying one of the first times I rang you that by the time this is over, we're all going to know someone that has passed because of this.
Yeah. And it is starting to take effect now because the age group that are now affected is a lot lower. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I've had a chat with, and I've said, do you know what? The thing is, if this was affecting like your 15 to 30-year-olds that were dying en masse, 1,000 plus a day, you can guarantee that they would have stayed at home. You can guarantee if they knew that they could die from it, they would have stayed at home. And people of my age would have stayed at home anyway because we're responsible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have been out partying.
Yeah, no, the only time I went out was for walks every day, and the rest of it was just home.
Yeah.
I used to go on like hour to 2 hour walks just to break up the day because I don't like being indoors all day. I didn't have much to do.
Yeah.
So it was just phoning people and walking, and then films, Netflix.
But you know yourself, there's been people that just had fucking house parties.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Coventry had a massive one, Coventry University.
Coventry University.
Huge, that thing was.
Bless them.
There was a barbecue. I think the first time I saw a Coventry thing
there was
being
barbecue,
broke up
wasn't it?
was the barbecue in Fosel, and there was 200 people there.
Yeah.
200 people at a barbecue.
Who knows 200 people to go to a barbecue?
Well, it's not even about knowing 200 people, because I reckon for certain events that's doable, like someone gets married or something like that. But who has 200 people at a barbecue at any point? And where do you have the barbecue to fit 200 people?
That's a lot of chicken legs, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like just chicken legs, chicken wings. I can't see it being anything more than that.
Yeah.
Maybe some vegan-friendly stuff. I don't know.
But that took a tangent, didn't it? Like,
Yeah, that got serious quick. Let's go back to the pub. So what's your favourite thing about going into a pub then?
it is literally the social aspect.
The social aspect. Because like we said, with Whitefriars, you'd meet geezers in there that were like 60 plus.
Yeah.
That
And
just
then,
randomly sit down and go, I'm all right,
yeah,
we'll see you.
all age groups in there.
And then they just talk about back in my day, which is always fascinating. Because back in their day is not too far away from my day. And then you think...
And then my day is not too far away from...
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, everyone's go, oh, back in my day, this was this. And I think the only thing that tends to be different is the world has changed, but people in pubs, generally speaking, are just there to be happy.
Yeah.
There aren't that many people that literally go to... I never go to a pub to get wankered.
No, it just ends up happening.
I think it's because of the environment. It's like you're happier to be there, you're happier to be around people. You don't necessarily restrain yourself that much.
No, I don't like putting a timestamp on it.
No, you don't go, well, I'm going to be here for an hour, and then I'm going.
Yeah. Or the people that go one drink.
Yeah, one drink and I'm off.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, 6 drinks later, every single time.
just going to have one the size of a goldfish bowl.
I used to say when I would go to the Oak, I'm going to have one drink. It's going to be a jug of like a Black Russian or something. I used to love them.
Yeah.
And then after I finished that, I was like, well, I'm going to have another one now.
And that's a good thing to do, because down at the Oak, don't they still sell pizza and stuff? And they got the burger van out the back. Or they used to have.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
So
it is the Oak, isn't it? Yeah.
That's a brilliant way of doing it, because you got a burger van right next to a pub.
It's a better idea. Like,
There's nothing better than a dirty burger.
Serve food and beer. You're going to make way more money.
One that's pretty much, if you dropped it on the floor, as pissed as you are, you'd still pick it up and eat it. We've all been there, you know what I mean? We've all had that moment. Oh no, it don't matter. 5-second rule.
There's a story about that burger van, actually.
Yeah.
I won't name names, just because like
Legal
they probably
reasons.
won't want to be named, and I don't actually know them that well. I just know they did this thing. So the guy that I don't think he owns anymore, but the guy that used to run that van wasn't a very nice guy, and apparently he started on someone in the Campbell upstairs in the dark room, and this particular person who I know but won't be named, he defended whoever, and he's quite a scary guy. Like, people might work out who I'm on about if I say that he resembles Bronson. Well, Tom Hardy playing Charles Bronson. Yeah. He resembles that quite a bit. And he's quite a scary character when he wants to be. So the guy who owns the burger van locked himself in said burger van.
Really?
And he climbs on top of the roof and pissed down the chimney of it. Because he knew he was locked away inside trying to hide.
Decent Human Being Award goes to man who looks like Tom Hardy in Bronson pissing down a chimney of a burger van of some dickhead. I remember the Campbell. I remember
the Phoenix
in the room upstairs where it was really dark.
Dark room, yeah.
Yeah, that's where Carl remembers he played chicken with me.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He's got ever so soft lips.
And I remember you biting a girl.
I bite people all the time.
I remember you biting a particular girl who says they liked being bit and could handle it, and then screamed, and you said, I haven't started yet.
See, here's the thing, right? So I'm not like that now. I'm not a dickhead. But years ago, I used to get drunk and just be a dickhead. And I think that's the funny part about drinking, though, isn't it? It's like you get all these stories later and people go, do you remember when you did this? And you go, vaguely, I remember this part of it. And then, yeah, it all mashes together in the end.
Do you remember the Christmas drink that I think the only time Unresolved did a Christmas drink? We started in the Earl of Mercia and then we ended up in the Campbell.
Yeah.
But Nick had left at that point.
Oh,
so it was you, me and Andrew.
Didn't Andrew...
And there was this
get into an altercation with
a particular guy who randomly started to sit with us. And he left his friend group, which was on the table next to us, and sat with us. And it was quite clear that he was stupidly drunk, and that the friends on the table over were laughing at the situation, but they wasn't laughing that he was taking the piss out of us. They was actually laughing at him.
Yeah.
Because he was being a bit of an idiot, and he kept on asking like what you into.
He was
what you
goading Andrew,
into.
though,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
he? He was
yeah.
trying.
He knew that he was
definitely
annoyed.
was trying to annoy Andrew more than anybody else.
Yeah, but he kept on asking what you into, obviously meaning like sexually.
Yeah.
And you tried to calm the situation down, and then eventually.
What did you say? You said something.
I'll get
You
to
said
that.
something.
I'll get to that. Yeah.
You said
I
something.
realise that this guy's a bit weird, so I'm going to have to be weird back.
Yeah.
And that will probably... I've got to be more weird than him, and he might go away then. But you chose to take Andrew outside and calm him down and leave me with him instead. So then he moved on to me. What you into? What you into? And I just ignored him. And then eventually it just got annoying. So he was like, what you into? And I just looked at him in the face, proper deadpan, and went, goats. He left. Into goats, mate.
I just think some people go into pubs like that. Yeah, that's just a rare moment, isn't it? Like I said, most people generally go into a pub and try and just have a chat with people, just any old chinwag. I've had some really interesting chinwags with people, but I think that bloke at the time, I think his mates were happy that he just fucked off and left them alone, actually.
Yeah, because he had a bit too much, hadn't he? And he was just being...
He'd just been
a bit
an
of a dick.
arse.
Yeah, making an idiot out of himself. But you get people like that.
It happens,
They're
doesn't
often
it?
in the oak.
It happens.
But it's I think them situations are quite funny. I quite enjoyed them. That's why I actually liked drinking in the oak, whereas most people don't. Because it can be dangerous in there. And the bouncers aren't as safe
They're
either.
not friendly people, are they?
No, they're not. But there's some funny situations that have happened in there that I wouldn't change. I think they're funny. I enjoyed myself. Apart from the time that I did actually get jumped there.
Did you?
Yeah, that was last year, February, just before the lockdown.
Oh, right.
I got jumped in there. It just happened out of nowhere, and this guy's on top of me, wailing on my face. I probably didn't make the situation any better when the guy got pulled off me because I was hellish drunk and I didn't feel a thing. And he must have hit me 8 or 10 times. And the fact that he hadn't knocked me out, I thought that was quite amusing. Because I still hadn't reacted to it at all. I was just lying there taking these smacks.
There is that moment of drunkenness that makes you almost immortal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I used to come and drink in town with you guys, and like because of where I used to live, and I catch a taxi back. It's really expensive, so I'd get him to let me out about 2 miles away, in the middle of nowhere in the dark,
Then try and walk
then
home.
walk home. And it'd be like 2 miles. How long does it take to walk 2 miles? Not long, unless you're pissed. The amount of times I fell in ditches and all sorts of stuff. You know, trying to walk along just moonlight. There's no street lamps where I used to live. But it's just something I used to do because I used to think, that'll sober me up a bit. In what universe does that even work?
As soon as that cold hits.
Absolutely. And it's always one of them things. It's like some of the most ridiculous decisions come out of being drunk.
Yeah.
And you've got that moment. I think it's because, do you know what I mean? With me, it was the dare factor. If somebody dared me to do it, I was a twat. I just did it. But I don't do that now because it's just ridiculous. There's too many times of doing too many stupid things. I just have to think, do you know what? One day it'll be stupid and dangerous and it won't work out very well. So you kind of have to hold back a bit.
There is a few times I've had that immortality feeling where I should have probably been scared of a situation that happened and I wasn't. Like there's one house party at Kerry's where I was more concerned about did I save my drink rather than bash my head on a table because there's this swivel chair and Andrew got into his loud phase and was pulling me outside towards the garden. He was holding the back of the backrest and like pulling off, they lean back, they fall. I'm sat on it with like whiskey, I think it was, and he pulls me over. I could have smacked my head on the corner of the table because I was far away from it. I could have whacked my head on the floor wrong. Instantly, as soon as I hit the floor, everyone, "Oh, you all right?" And I've saved my whiskey. I didn't spill a drop.
That's all that matters.
I don't know how I did it, but that's what I was concerned about.
Absolutely, that's all that matters. There's nothing worse than that horrible moment where you drop a drink.
Whiskey gets really sticky as well.
Yeah. It's like download. You know, when you go to download, and because you've already forked out a stupid amount for the ticket, you've stood in a queue for a ridiculous amount of time, so you end up buying 5 drinks, and you know
trying to carry
cup them all
back
together because they don't. Have you got any cup holders? No, we haven't. All right, I'll take all these Tuborg. I love it, Tuborg. In my paper cup, and I sit in my little chair with all my Tuborgs around me, and I remember somebody knocked them all over. I was like, "You fucking moron!" I launched at somebody and screamed and shouted, and they just looked so embarrassed because everybody around was staring. They just opened their purse and gave me the money, that was nice. It's just that I have to queue up again.
Yeah, there's been a couple of times at festivals where the dickhead mode has come out from you. I do remember getting the free drinks at Sonosphere.
Yeah, I was a bit of a knob there, and they'd give me drinks to get rid of me. Sonosphere, there was that moment of danger where there was those blokes that were like really big that was pissing me off, and one bloke was like, "You're a knob, you are," and I went, "Yeah, what are you can do about it?" And it got to the point where I just went, "Look, either hit me or fuck off." And his mate in the end went, "Let's just go." It's like, it's one of them. I do get that stupid head on, and it's like more stubborn than normal.
It's like a combination of booze, sun, and in a field with music.
Yeah, it's the music that does it, you know.
It's the music.
Yeah.
It's Marilyn Manson's fault.
Oh, God. So there's a stupid drunk. Last time we saw him, he was at Download.
And was 2019.
Was he vomiting on the side of the stage or something?
Yeah, he went off stage for a chunder, didn't he?
I've never seen a good show of
his.
He
had a massive snot rocket that he got some stage hand to bring him a towel. He wiped it and threw it at the guy.
Yeah.
Threw it back in his
He's
face.
such a dickhead.
Launching the mic stands all over the stage.
He's like a little boy that's having a temper tantrum. I honestly have never... he was one of the people that I always wanted to go and watch. And I think the first time I saw him was back in... I think he was Milton Keynes in 2000 or 2001, something like that. Might have been 2000. And that was the first time I saw him. And I thought, not impressed. Just couldn't see what the fuss was about.
See, 2019 at Download last was the first time I'd seen him.
Was it?
I've never really wanted to. I've never actually been into his music that much. One or two songs, maybe. But like, obviously recently it's come out that he's a bit of a dickhead.
Yeah.
But I watched that show and was like, this guy's a dick. And then didn't want to be there.
And then like you look at someone like Rob Zombie and all the work that he does, and you just think he's made all these films, and he makes the zombie films and the white zombie stuff that he did, and in his own stuff, and the videos that he does for people, and you just think, I bet he's a knob. And he's not, is he? He appears to be a really nice bloke. Yeah. And he's a vegan. That's what surprised me the most. He makes all these really disgusting horror films, and his wife's always in the horror film.
Yeah.
But all the bad decisions I ever made started with having a drink that led to having another one. Festival drinking is the ultimate, because I don't go on holidays. So to me, going to a festival is my holiday.
Yeah, it costs about the same.
So you know, that's where all my money goes.
Sonosphere 2014 was a good one for Drunken Stories and You, I think. Because somehow in a field of thousands of people where everyone looks like you, I managed to find you every single day.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? You just turned up,
easily. Like, I'd walk into the field and like, there's
there
Darren.
He is. Whereas me, I go to the toilet at a festival, come back and I can't find where I'm supposed to be ever.
I'm pretty good at it. What was that? That was for camping. That was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Leave on Monday. You didn't camp because you do the hotel thing.
Yeah, because I'm a snob. That's where all my money goes.
But the Friday, I didn't find you until at the end of the night. Prodigy were on.
And
you were sat in your deck chair eating pizza.
Watching Prodigy.
You and me had the exact same opinion because I was heading back to the tent.
Yeah.
Because they've played about 9 songs. They're all the popular ones. Go home now.
Might as well go home now. Yeah.
Which is exactly what you said to me.
That's how I tend to be with a band. If I go on and they're like, it's like, as long as they play the hits first, I can go now.
They just wasn't that impressive, really.
No.
They might have been at other shows, but that's the only time I've seen them when I was like, okay.
I think that's the best thing about festivals, though. You get to see a band that you probably wouldn't go out your way to watch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
did that a lot that year, actually. I discovered Devin Townsend from that year.
Yeah.
Because I'd heard his name, never listened to him, assumed he's probably going to be crap, and then got fairly close for it, just to have a look, and yeah, still a fan.
See, I remember Sonosphere, one of the Sonospheres I went to, and Gary Newman was playing. Now I wouldn't go out my way to go and watch Gary Newman.
That was 2014.
Was it that one?
It was that one, yeah.
But he played, and I was like, oh, right, okay, brilliant. And Airborne. Was it Airborne?
Airborne, yeah. Airborne played that year, and they played the last Sonosphere as well, the one before, 2011. That was the last time he was able to climb the rafters in this country.
Yeah, because they banned
he got on the roof that year.
Yeah.
He didn't do it in 2014 because he would have got a fine.
And they're not allowed to do it. I remember people were egging him on Download.
Yeah, that he's not allowed to do it anywhere now.
And he just
anywhere
said,
in this country.
Can't.
Yeah,
which was a shame.
It was a shame that he couldn't do it, but you wouldn't be complaining if he had actually fell. And
that's the thing, isn't it?
So
That'd be where the
It's
drunken
cool.
stupidness comes in.
It's cool rock and roll and all that, but if the bad thing happened,
Yeah.
everyone would be saying how stupid it was.
So, out of all the festivals you've been to, right?
Yeah.
What's been like the moment where you just went, "This is perfect"?
Ooh, I don't know. I haven't actually been to that many festivals, to be fair. Been to a few like smaller ones, but Sonosphere was the first time that I'd camped at a festival in 2014. So that was kind of late bloomer because I'd been into music for a while already. And then I didn't go to another festival until Download 2018, like big one,
Yeah.
and camp. And I went 2018, 2019. 2018 Shinedown was pretty up there.
Yeah, they were pretty good actually.
They stole that weekend for me. I think out of every band I saw, they were the one that weekend. And 2019 was Skindred.
I think I was walking in when they just started doing the Newport helicopter.
I kept on time. I wore a snood that year.
So you could take your snood off.
Yeah. So like bandana, it keeps my hair out my face when it's all greasy after all the beer and sweat and everything. It was pissing down.
It was
most
very
of the time,
wet.
but I wore it for that reason. So I want it to rain all day until Skindred.
So you can
when I do
around.
the Newport helicopter, the water goes everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
So I ran as far as I could to get to the front. I didn't get to the front. I got close enough though. I got fairly close. I managed to find people that I knew.
That's always a good thing at a festival. You bump into loads of people.
Yeah.
There are people that I only ever see at festivals that come from Leicester and places like that.
Yeah, guy's name's Simon. I wouldn't even call myself his friend really. I know him, but we're not particularly mates. We just get on if we see each other.
Yeah.
He comes to gigs at the Arches every so often. He likes his metal. I stood with him. Had my little flask with whiskey that I managed to get in my back pocket.
That's always a good thing if you can actually get any beer in.
I always can. I've got a secret back pocket.
I remember one year I was going, and like at the beginning, like that when they're doing the right, you got to chuck it in here, or people sit down and try and drink it. Because you always get people like that've never been to a festival before, and they take a massive crates full, and then try and walk through, and then they've got the bins and stuff. And one year, some bloke got too many boxes by him. I'm walking by, he's like, "Do you want a beer?" I'm like, "Yeah, go for it." So I literally sat down, helped him drink his beer before he even went in. That was a score. That was a good festival.
Nice people like that at festivals.
Some people are quite nice. I mean, you get a lot of family vibe going at festivals these days. A lot of people, it's like the second generation, because they're taking their own kids or are now in their 20s and 30s or whatever.
Everyone's there for the same thing. It doesn't matter what band you're into. That's why I like Download, because it's got metal, rock. It's a little bit of everything there, and it doesn't matter what you're there for.
And a lot of people, do you know what? I've never got into it, too many altercations at Download all the years I've been going. Sonosphere must be different because it's probably a different part of the country. Bloodstock's quite a nice one as well.
I've never went.
Because it's smaller, So a lot of people go, "Oh, Bloodstock, yeah, it's a smaller." Imagine a festival with one beer tent.
Well, yeah, that's weird.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's no massive festival. It's got one beer tent.
Most people probably expect that I have been to Bloodstock, but I haven't. Because I like my metal, but it's not necessarily metal with lots of screaming and whatever. And for a long time, that was what Bloodstock pretty much was. It's started to sort of mellow who's on now a little bit, so you get like your Megadeths and stuff like that. But I've still never been.
Let's hope this all goes away and we can have festivals again. I do miss them. So last week it was the anniversary. Was it Monday? It was the anniversary of the last time we actually played a gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was the Patriot that we always go
Where
on
the
about.
road crew was from. Yeah.
So that was that. Hope they go. Hope they come back. I'm hoping a lot of venues come back strong.
The Patriot will come back. I know they managed to get the first round of Cultural Fund.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they've even applied for this. I don't know. They've got the bikers there as well. That'll probably help them out in some way. I know they've refurbed the outside. Dirty Rockers did that as well.
Yeah.
They got refurbed outside. A lot of locals came and helped paint.
Good stuff. Maybe that's what we should do here.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Pick a day.
Definitely needs a roof doing.
Yeah, anybody wants to do the roof on the Arches cheaply,
it doesn't need to be cheaply. It
just needs to be done properly.
It's the landlord that's getting the bill for it.
So yeah, please put your contracts in to Adam, and we'll see what we can do.
Going back to Sonosphere, the drunken stories of Sonosphere. This is you again, because on the last day, Metallica playing, we didn't even try and get close or anything. We were just hanging right back, not even in the crowd, just listening. Deck chairs, drinking. Richard Summerscale joined us.
Yeah.
So there was you, me, Rich, and the other halves. And then when we were leaving, because Metallica were done, I think you was probably bromancing with Rich for about half an hour to 40 minutes. And I don't think the conversation moved any further for the entire time because he was just repeating themselves over and over again.
That's the thing about me and him. I think we've had many conversations where they go in one complete circle and then they change up and it's the same circle and it just keeps going.
And I was just sort of stood there because like I was going back to the tent and Rich had a tent to go back to but a different camp. So I was like, I've got to say bye here because we're going different ways.
Yeah.
And I was just sort of stood there just watching this bromance for like 40 minutes.
I'm a very caring individual. I think I'm a very caring individual and I'm even more caring when I've had a beverage. It's definite. So I just want people to reflect on what they think were their moments of madness or insane, non-sober moments.
How about some non-sober gig moments? Not ones we've played.
Not ones we've played. Been to
not
a
festivals
gig.
either. Just local or just a big gig.
Oh, last year when we went and seen Zach Wild, Zach Sabbath, and I
grabbed him.
I went and grabbed him. I went and harassed him. And got past all the security guards and just screamed in his face, Zach! And then came back like a little kid going, guess what? Guess what? That was brilliant. And that's it. That's my life summed up now.
There's a lot of people we knew that was actually there.
Yeah, there was, yeah. Yeah, John and Nancy were there because they were right round where he went and was playing.
On the balcony, they were sat round there. We saw them before the show. And I text Nancy, going, I can see you.
We were waving, weren't we?
And she was sort of looking around, and I was texting back, like, look for the flashing light, and I set my phone to a strobe. Hey! We saw Lindsay and her fellow, what's his name? Names are escaping me. We saw them after when we went to...
Oh, yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because there was a pub over the road.
Yeah, what's the pub's name? I always forget the name of this one.
Was it a Spoons, was it?
No, it's a known sort of venue kind of pub, but it always escapes me, this name. For anyone listening, it's down the road from the Institute.
Yeah, it's just over the road, yeah. And then it was...
Why can't I think of that?
and then it was about 2 days later that I saw that picture that Zach had put on Instagram about the picture. So it was his band had a photograph taken by the big portrait, the Sabbath portrait. Yeah. And then I was doing some training from work in Digbeth, and once the training finished, I went and had a wander around and found out where it was because it's by the bus station. It's by the Digbeth coach station. It's a car park. And I was like, we need to go and have a photograph taken there. I can't remember if I took a photo. Probably not.
I remember you saying we need to have one.
I just think it's really cool.
I think you took a photo of it and sent we need to do a band photo here or something like that. I'm trying to work out what the name of this place we went to have a drink was.
Are you Googling it as we speak?
Yeah, I'm trying to, and trying to keep my face facing up to talking to the mic.
See, we don't research anything.
We
just talk bollocks.
We didn't even write notes for this one. It's
normally we write a handful
here's the topic,
of notes.
Let's go.
So I remember the one we did on conspiracy theories. So I think I got the date of bread wrong. So sliced bread was actually invented in France, and it was June the 7th, 1928, because I did research that one.
You got it by for a year.
So yeah, and then the moon landing, I think I said it was June the 20th, and it wasn't. It's July the 20th, 69.
Okay. I think the Vietnam War date was wrong as well, actually.
Yeah, but
America's
always at war somewhere.
There's some war. We don't know which one it was. No, it's not the Sunflower Lounge.
No. So
why are there so many venues in Birmingham?
Let's just talk about all the pubs that don't exist anymore. On Gosford Street, the Brewer and Baker. Is it not the Brewer and Baker? What was it called? The Beer Engine, which used to be the Golden Cup, if anyone remembers.
Beer Engine was great.
Beer Engine, played loads of gigs there.
Yeah, I've got a story of Beer Engine. Actually, I've got a couple. There was the gig where you played in M5N. Yeah. And me and a bunch of others, Jack Sadler and everyone, came down. And you tried to get us to play, and we just didn't. And there's another one where I went and saw V8 there. And they were playing Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. And singer Dave Cowan, he's quite well built. and he comes on. No, there wasn't. They was playing Bullet for My Head, Rage Against the Machine, and he came on whilst singing off the stage and started moshing with everybody because a little mosh pit had broke out, and like, he launched me one-handed like onto a table somewhere. I just went flying. He was still singing, didn't miss a note. The bar in Birmingham is Subside, by the way.
There you go. There you go. So now we know.
The more you know.
So Gosford Street had that. What else was in Gosford Street?
I don't remember all the ones in Gosford Street. The Hammer and Anvil.
That's Birmingham. That's a good pub. That used to be a good pub. Hammer and Anvil was a good pub. I used to like going there.
What am I thinking of?
What was that?
Began with a H in Gosford Street.
Hertford Arms.
That's the one.
There you go.
Yep. So many of them that are just not there anymore. I forget all the names. The Diplomat, Roadhouse.
Yep.
That's still closed doors.
Still closed. Still empty.
There.
It was first gig, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Our first gig went out as M5N. Wasn't even resolved yet.
Yep.
All covers. No one was there.
No, literally no one was there. There's about 5 people there and a dog. There's a man and a dog. I remember a man and a dog.
I don't remember the man and the dog.
It's just one of them, isn't it? Why do you get into playing music? Just so you can have a social life, probably.
It's a laugh.
Yeah.
You like pubs and drinking. You like music. Combine all three.
Combine all three, and it's perfect. It's a trifecta. It's perfect.
Have you any drunken stories of the venue we're currently sat in?
I've never been drunk in this venue.
Have you not?
No.
Many a time, I think.
I've been really good. I think mainly because I have to drive here, so it tends to be not the thing that happens, being a responsible car owner and all that.
True. I've definitely had a few drinks in here. I wouldn't say I've been plastered in here. I've definitely had quite a few drinks, more than I should have. There's one time I ended up going to Glamorous from here.
Where's that?
It used to be Rainbows.
Oh, yeah.
And a group of us went, and for whatever reason, Andrew decided I'm going to stick Adam's name down on the karaoke and forced me to do Enter Sandman. But we all got up as a group and did it anyway, and there's a video of that, and it's terrible.
Really?
It's horrible. Actually, it wasn't from here, it was from the Dyers, actually.
Please post it.
I don't even know who posted it, so I've not seen it since it went up. That was years ago as well, now it was 2 or 3 years ago. But there are many stories from this place, gig-wise. The only time that I did drink before a show was here.
Yeah.
That was... what show was that? It was a charity gig. It was an all-dayer. It was a weekender.
Was it one of them Winter Wonderland
I think it was
jobbies?
For Zoe's place. And yeah, it was the Saturday. And it was all booked by Tony Rowan. But the Saturday, he was at a wedding and couldn't be here. And because I was doing all the posters and stuff and I was down here, I was tasked with running that day.
Nice.
Which, playing it and running it, it's, if anyone that's done it, they know it's a ball ache. But there was one particular band, who I won't name,
I remember this day. I remember it.
They were so up themselves, like they were massive rock stars because they came in a van and they were on like a mini tour or something. They were just really not nice people. And they showed up and things were running behind, as they often do with all-dayers. And I introduced myself, I told them what the situation was. And they was like, yeah, that's cool. I told them, like, we're trying to catch up, but it's looking like you could be on sort of 5, half 5, depending on catch-up times. We caught up, so it was going to be 5 o'clock, and they're nowhere to be seen. They've just left.
They fucked off somewhere, haven't they?
Yeah, they left to go and get food, which, fair enough, but like if you know you're going to be on at 5 o'clock or whatever, or could be on at 5 o'clock, get back in time. They didn't, right? So they put us back again by about 20 minutes. And yeah, they went on, they played, they knew it was a charity thing. It weren't my fault. I told them that it could be this, it could be that. Like, there's nothing more I can do apart from try to catch up everything. And then they got me outside in front of like public in between bands and berated me, saying, "Oh, you said we was going to be on at 6 o'clock." No, I didn't.
No,
giving it this, giving it that. Oh, it's a shame because it's a charity event and we're not getting paid. And I was like, yeah, well, what changes?
Absolutely, you're doing a charity event out of the goodness of your heart.
If it went well or went bad, either way you weren't getting paid. Why are you now complaining about that?
Absolutely.
And it's for a charity, so why are you berating that? The fact is, I said it could be 5:30, it could be 5, and you took 6 o'clock, which was your original time you were supposed to have if things didn't go back or have to catch up or anything. So leaving to go get food at the time they did was a stupid move, especially when there was riders.
Yeah,
so that they could have food here.
I was going to say, didn't you usually do the big old pizza thing
down
here?
Yeah, get the beast down here, which was a thing. Yeah, and they just berated me in front of everyone, so I just told them, like, look, get back in your van, leave.
Go home.
You're probably not coming back ever again because you're just being rude. I didn't say it so polite, to be fair. But then, yeah, I went in and I was like, Steve, I need a drink. And I didn't even tell him what, he just came with some whiskey.
Nice choice.
And that's the only time that I've ever actually drank before a gig, because not even the stress of doing the gig and the stress of some of the band that thought they were superstars when they was on halfway through a lineup on a charity gig. It's like,
some people just don't think things through. It's like a lot of the stuff that we've done, like we do, and a lot of the bands in and around here, they do the charity stuff when it's on. And everybody, it's usually all the same bands, and the reason it's usually all the same bands is because, one, they all get on with each other. Two, the people that organise it know that you can trust that band. They're going to turn up, they're going to do what they say, and they're not going to mess you around.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
They're the bands that come back.
Yeah, and that's why you end up doing the same thing all the time.
Yeah, it's not, bands aren't in competition with each other. Bands aren't megastars. Not unless they are actually megastars, but they're not.
Well,
if they're playing the Arches, then you're not a megastar. Like, you're a local band or you're a semi-touring band.
Yeah.
You're not going to be, like, huge. Oh yeah, like, maybe one day, but like currently you're not. So don't be a dick.
Come along, plug in, play the gig, be grateful,
Yeah.
and be humble.
If
It's
you're
that
getting
simple.
paid, that's great. If you're doing it for charity, then that's even better, really. But if something does go wrong, work with people involved who are trying to run it, and don't berate them for it going wrong afterwards, because it's not always just things go wrong in timing wise. If things run back, it's not always down to bad booking or anything. It's down to just bands going over a little bit. Bands taking a long time to set up.
There's a lot of people that have no idea. They have no idea of what's going on behind the scenes.
No. Like, if there's a technical issue with
So
sound.
I remember we played with bands where you know that, like, they haven't been around for ages. It's like mummy and daddy paid in a lot of money.
Yeah.
Bought more of the nice stuff. You know what I mean? We everybody knows people like that. And they tend to have a little bit of an attitude, and it's like, hang on a minute, don't.
Entitlement.
Yeah,
that's the word.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it in music, but it's like, well, just don't be a dick.
This is probably why I don't drink on a night of a gig, because if I'm so fucking unreasonable at download, I'll be a right swat at a gig.
Can you turn it on stage, please? And turns it up.
Yeah. Can you turn it up a bit? Can you turn it up? Can I borrow your amp? No, yeah, you can, but, just don't.
Yeah, that was the only time. That's the most unreasonable band I've ever had to deal with here, so this far. I was like, nah, just get back in your van and leave. Don't come back. You won't be booked again. They haven't been booked again. I don't know what they're doing. I've not heard of them since. I hadn't heard of them that particular day, to be fair. I hadn't booked any of the bands. But I had no idea who they were.
It's like I said to you the other week, though. How many organisations are going to survive, and how many bands are going to survive?
Yeah, it's going to be
really difficult.
I mean, there's bands that solely just maybe gig the same venues all the time, but they were busy because of that. Like, they would, if they have fun doing that, then that's fine. And they just play the constant gigs, maybe like a few a year, like doing the same venues, and they don't really release music. So when they've got no gigs, they're just gone.
Yeah, they're not doing
anything.
And
there's bands that do release music that are still gone, and it's only really the ones that are really making a go of trying to make it a career that are still releasing music, still grinding, doing live streams all the time and all that stuff. But everyone else, it's going to be really difficult to come back from. I think the gigs are going to be there, but to get people to give a shit again,
that's the next thing, isn't it? The next thing is to get people to get out, go and sit in a pub, go and support people. Because I remember, like, it was probably about June, July time last year, where people were saying, you know, let's get venues up and running again, let's do this, let's do that, everybody go and support local music. And then you put something on here, you were doing the open mic nights and stuff.
Yeah, I had the open mic nights. And
although people were
gigs.
saying, let's go and do this, let's go and do that, the first one was really well received.
Yeah.
And then it sort of dwindled. And it was like...
it depended on the weeks. So the last one, the one we did, it was okay. The open mics never had many people anyway. We never filled the place.
No, but
we usually got around 30 people.
My point is,
but it was week in, week out was different.
There are people
some weeks were really good, some weren't.
that were there saying, do you know what? I'd love to go out. I'd love to go and see a band. Well, you can still support bands by buying their music, buying their merchandise. Do you know what I mean? All these bands, not just us, there's lots of bands around who've got their own little shops online, and there is a way of supporting them. You know what I mean? It's like when bands come back and bigger bands come back, and people will be moaning about the price of tickets. I guarantee it.
The ticket prices are going to go up.
Of course they are.
I'll tell everyone at home who's listening, as the manager of the Archers, ticket prices are going to be going up a bit.
It's got to. You can't run places empty for a year and then expect people to not have to pay out a bit more.
Yeah, and to be fair as well, ticket prices aren't only going up because of the COVID. They're mainly going to be going up because I've booked some fairly
You're going down
big names.
Bigger name route. Yeah, you heard it here first.
I still can't disclose who.
No, I know.
I have had the contract back a couple of days ago for a particular one that is going to be a big one. But yeah, like ticket prices got to go up for that because they cost money.
Yeah, because it costs money to get big people in.
I mean, it's costing the venue still to exist now. We've still got bills even though we're not open to people.
That's what people don't realise. And people don't realise is, you know, you still got to pay your rent, you still got to pay your rates, you still got to pay whatever else. You've got your utilities bills, all that. Just because you ain't using it doesn't mean that they don't want money for it.
Then on top of that, the building needs love and care still, like because it's still not in the place it should be. Not quite yet. We got it to a decent place to open, but there's still a lot more to make it a good venue.
While we've been sitting here, we've been hearing like what sounds like somebody's throwing snowballs on the roof.
It sounds like someone's walking.
It does, doesn't it?
Like between the ceiling and the roof. I reckon like there's icicles at the moment on the arch. Maybe they're falling off, but who knows?
So let's grab a bottle of scotch and go stand out there and wait for the ice to come in.
Let's get drunk. Let's get back onto some drunken stories because we've gone on a few tangents this episode. It's not really been the topic that we said it was going to be. It's just been, let's have a chat.
Yeah, but it's easier when there's people around.
It's the drunken chat without being drunk.
It's the drunken chat without being drunk, yeah. Going round in a big old circle.
Yeah. Have you got any other funny stories of pubs, gigs, drunkenness?
Drunken gigs. I've never played a gig drunk, apart from the one that I disclosed earlier on when I was much younger.
Yeah.
Since then, no, I don't drink when I'm playing a gig. And then we did that thing we were on about, would you drink at practice? You know, a drink after a practice, good idea. Drink during practice, maybe one. That's probably where I am with that.
How about sort of stories of drunkenness that are probably other people that it happened to but was funny and you were there and they probably wouldn't mind it being disclosed? Any of them?
Any of them?
Because the ones that I have said about other people that they won't mind, they'd say themselves.
So I can tell a drunken story about my teenage years, going out and getting drunk. So there was a group of us, we went out, we got drunk, and then we managed to get into a party in, I think it was Bramble Street, Holbrook somewhere. No, I can't even remember where it was. I was about 16, 17 at the time. But somewhere around there, Bramble Street seems to ring a bell, I don't know. But that was the first time we'd seen like weed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they were all students, and my mate was like, Daz, they're smoking something over there. And I went, what are they smoking? He went, I think it's cannabis. Looks like a rabbit dropping, and we've lost it under the sofa. Because back then it used to be like resins and stuff. And he says, oh, they're telling me that's like £4, which back then was a lot of money. So you've got all these students, like drunken students, trying to chase this thing under a sofa. And he found that quite amusing. And then he had a hit on it. And next thing I know, someone's telling me I need to go outside because we need to collect him. and he's outside face down in a bowl of what can only be determined as piss. so I know he like, and I can't even remember, did he vomit in the bowl as well? I don't know, but he was in a bit of a state, and from that point onwards we took him home. But when I was younger, I wasn't the drunk. I was the one that liked to stay sober and watch my mates get drunk and do stupid stuff. Yeah,
because it was funny.
Because it was funnier. Yeah. So I always went. Plus, I had really strict parents, so going home drunk wasn't a good idea. But yeah, I kind of remember that. I can remember dragging him home. Yeah, most of my mates, they would go one or two ways. They'd be all right for a while, and then all of a sudden somebody would like, you know, when people just take their shirt off.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
It's weird,
and you think, okay, so there's a loud noise over in the corner of the room, and so and so's just took their shirt off. So do I just go up and wrestle them away and remind them that they're either going to lose, or even if they do win tomorrow, they're going to feel really stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it tends to be like that. So I had that kind of upbringing, and it wasn't until sort of later life that, when I've been jaded by life, that I turn into like the monster that I become when I go to download.
Yeah.
Sonosphere, the monster of Sonosphere. I remember once I sat, the most like perfect moment was sitting there, pissed out my head on a chair with an umbrella because it was so fucking hot, watching ZZ Top.
Yeah.
It's like the coolest moment ever. And at that moment, I was like, nothing will ever top this. Until I got drunk and accosted Zach Wilde a year ago, and then that probably tops it.
They're probably two different situations, aren't they?
Yeah.
One's a, oh my god, this is amazing, and then the other one's like really chill Sunday afternoon kind of vibe.
Yeah. It was actually. It was a chilled Sunday afternoon kind of vibe. So I'm kind of that kind of extreme. I'm either in the moment, in the zone, or I'm on one.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like that, though. A lot of people are like, as soon as the calmest people become the biggest monsters when they've had a drink. Do you know what I mean? Because there's that happy place between having a laugh, telling stupid jokes. Then there's that darker place where you're having in-depth conversations.
Yeah.
Then somebody annoys you, and that's where it all goes hideously wrong.
It can go wrong from
That's
there.
when it goes absolutely horribly wrong.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that. Because I go ages without drinking anything, and then when I do drink, it's like, yes, I'm drinking everything in sight.
Yeah. Greedy kid syndrome, innit?
Yeah, it's like, I don't want the night to end. So you stay up until 5 in the morning, and then get home, and like, well, there's only point in sleeping. I don't sleep much anyway, so if I do, I'll wake up at 7. Feel fine. Well,
Yeah.
I don't feel fine as much now. As soon as I hit that 26, I got my first hangover.
There's a point where I stopped having hangovers, and I kind of figured out what it was. I'm just probably not sober. So, do you know what? There's that point where I'm just not completely sober, so I don't have a hangover. Spirits will give me a hangover. Beer, no. Wine, sometimes. Wine and beer,
I've never drank
sometimes.
Wine. I've tried wine. I don't like wine, so I've never been drunk off that.
See, that's me being good, right? I go, do you know what? I'm going to drink wine tonight. I'm just going to drink a bottle of red. And it's not a bottle of red. It's 3 bottles of red. Do you know what I mean?
And a crate.
and then some beer. And I'm like, oh, I'm still thirsty. And I'm not thirsty. I'm just greedy. I drink beer like most people drink pop. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, that's what Carl and I will say about me. Even though I'm the younger of the 3, I'm usually the one that's left at the end, carrying them to a taxi or something.
See, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, the older you get, the worse this is, and the worse it has an effect on you. And then there's always that point in the back of your head where you're trying to be a responsible adult.
Yeah.
You know, because I watch people, I've been many places and played gigs and watched people around me fall apart, get drunk, do all the stupid stuff, the fighting, all that kind of stuff that people do, the losing the ambitions, the rolling around in mud, caked in piss, that kind of stuff. And it's people at their worst, right? And it is sometimes mildly amusing. But there's that moment where you just look at it and go, wow, I must look like that when I've had a drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I ask myself sometimes, am I that bad? I remember one year at Download, I was wearing a kilt and a poncho, and it was fucking it down. It was absolutely pissing it down. And you know when the water runs like the downhill bit away from like all the food stalls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I went over, just went over to have a look, and there was all these people doing belly slides down the hill in the mud.
Yeah, they was doing that in 2019 as well.
And
The
I
village
thought,
was nuts.
That looks fun. So I just did it in a kilt and a poncho. Yeah.
Yeah, 2019, that was pretty bad for being wet. The village was the worst part, I think. The arena wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
But the village, there must have been like 5 inches of water just there. And people were like proper wrestling, giving each other real suplexes and stuff.
And just lobbing
mud.
each other in the water. Yeah.
Brilliant. But Download has wicked games like that.
What I was going to say, it's a community thing, isn't it?
Download always has awesome games like that, where 2 people will do a random thing and then there would suddenly be a crowd just watching and cheering like it's been booked. And it's not. It's no part of the festival. It's just 2 random people.
But we live in an age now where people are sensible enough that they get their phone out and film it, for the ones of us that never actually seen it for real.
Yeah, so there's a Download group. Yeah. So when you're at Download, you can find out what's going on in other campsites. Like, oh, this person's been robbed from like camp or whatever. Or the day that everyone is taking their tents down, that's the best day, because you see people fucking jousting with airbeds and dumpsters. I remember the dumpster one, like I think that was Sonosphere actually, 2014. It was 2 people, just one on each dumpster and
just pushing them into each
other. People just pushed it into each other.
It's
brilliant.
It's that childish mob mentality that makes me laugh.
And there was definitely the one 2019 was jousting with airbeds. 2 guys holding airbeds just run at each other, and one goes flying and takes out a tent. As long as you don't have to take it down. Yeah. So everyone's going home, but everyone's still really happy.
Which is kind of good.
They're not sober yet, that's why. They haven't actually slept.
I think people need to tell us their stories, so we can pick some stories and let them come and tell them in person.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Read some out.
Or read some out, that'd be good.
Tell us your drunken stories.
Be
an old pub that may not be here anymore.
Yeah.
Festivals or gigs.
Yeah.
Tell me some Archer's stories, actually.
Archer's stories are good, yeah.
Being like manager here, it'd be cool to see some Archer's stories.
Because I'm sure there's lots of stuff that's happened here.
Loads.
That we're not aware of.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
There's quite a few dramatic stories that I know of that I was here for. I'm not going to tell because of the nature of the drama. But there's going to be loads of people that have got stories here. There's Metal to the Masses stories. There's always full for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tell us your stories.
Andrew, come and tell us your story.
Andrew,
you don't need to, because we know most of yours.
Andrew's got others. Yeah, we know them, but other people don't. Maybe he'll disclose some things that will be entertaining for some people. Oh, there's another noise. Shall we do paranormal episode next?
I definitely think we should, because every time we come in here, there's noises that we can't explain.
It's been really loud today. It's loud anyway, but like today, it's been particularly loud.
There's that weird noise in the other room that sounds like a spot hitting the floor, and then when you go looking on the floor, you can't even find anything.
It's a leak.
No,
it's definitely a leak.
I don't think it's a leak.
No, it's definitely a leak. I just haven't found it yet.
I think we should do a paranormal one, because there's different ways of looking at it. There's different ideas about what it is. There's different beliefs on what things are. There's different opinions. I'm quite skeptical about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, skeptic until proven.
Absolutely.
Kind of thing.
But I'm not a skeptic about being drunk. Generally speaking, if you have alcohol and you have too much, you end up doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
And you might throw up.
You might pass out.
You might lose a few hours.
You may try and befriend people that you shouldn't befriend. They might try and befriend you, and you might not be in a good mood.
Yeah.
There's all those kinds of things.
Yeah, that one's pretty much a given. You don't have to believe in that.
It's not an opinion.
Just how it is.
That happens.
Like, everyone knows that no one drinks for the taste.
It's true.
Because it doesn't taste good. There is not one lager or ale that I consider to taste good.
No.
There are ales that taste better than others.
So I sit at home, and I drink. Like, if I'm drinking vodka or something, And then you do that face that you pull where it just like you've just tried to drink battery acid or something.
Yep.
And you just think, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And then you get the burning in the throat of a really bad one.
Yeah.
And you think,
Yeah.
and then you go, wow, that's smooth. What you really mean?
No,
what
it's
you really
not.
mean is, shit, man.
I'm not going to taste anything for a week.
Tom's making some homebrew, by the way.
Oh, I've seen.
I don't know what he's calling it.
I do.
What's he calling it?
I won't disclose that.
Okay.
I'll let him announce it if he's going to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know if he's going to try and go into selling it or anything like that yet. I just know he's personal use at the moment.
Personal use.
Yeah.
So you can do that with alcohol. You can't do it with a meth lab.
No,
It's
no,
against
you
the law.
can't. Maybe we should do an episode on meth labs. That's
Personal use.
I'm quite amazed that we've gone an hour 17 minutes on a topic of drunkenness, and we haven't spoke about a certain thing that happened in a Birmingham pub with you, me, and Tom.
No. Yeah, it's that moment, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's that moment. See, I'm the calm one.
It wasn't a great moment, was it?
No, but I was the calm one.
True. I tried to be the calm one, and then he started swinging. So, nope.
No. And again, that's just a friendly afternoon in a pub, having a chat, having a gym wag. But I think that guy in that pub was just one of them who constantly,
Yeah, he was known
from the sounds of it, he was known for his poor behaviour.
Yeah, he was known for it, and Tom can have a short fuse sometimes.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did. Tom will be the first to tell you.
So, this is what we're going to aim for moving forward. When pubs open, we want people to sit around like you would if you were at the Whitefriars. You know, sit on the table. Don't be a dickhead to people. Remember, there's a limit, and try and stick within it. It's your own personal limit. It's however many you feel that you can take before you become a twat.
I think everyone out there knows this.
I know, but you just need reminding every now and again. You know what I mean?
You need to be grounded.
Have I had really good nights being out with people being sober? Yeah. I've had really great nights being drunk. Yeah, most of them I can't remember. And that's the difference.
I definitely don't remember every bit of all of them. I remember most stories, but there's always like an hour or two where I'm like, I don't remember that. And you just lose bits.
I think that's your brain going, you know, he's trying to protect you, and it's like you could end up shagging a sheep at this point. You know what I mean? So your brain just switches off and goes, you're in charge, and leaves it down to base instinct. Do you know what I mean? And that's when you need to look after yourself and each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we've all got that one friend, and maybe we've got more than one friend who needs that sort of tap on the shoulder.
Or you don't have that one friend, in which case that friend is you.
Absolutely. You're the one. Yeah, if you don't have a friend like that you look after, you're the one everyone's looking after because you're the problem. It ain't you, mate. I've been out with you. It ain't you. It's me.
Well,
out of the two of us, it's me.
That one that I just spoke about, I was the one carrying you at that time.
It happens.
But yeah, I don't think we even ate that chicken, did we?
No.
We went and got chicken, loads of it, and
chicken,
left loads of it as well.
Yeah.
Ah, well.
Being drunk, good thing or bad thing?
Both. Depends on the situation, doesn't it? If you get too drunk, it's bad.
That's
Depending
the
on
thing,
who's
isn't it?
around you, it can be bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's them same situations, it can be why it's good.
That's what happens though, isn't it? It's like shuffling the deck of cards. You can drink the same amount as you did a previous time, be around the same people, and have the worst night and fall out with everybody.
And depending on mindset, it can be both on the same night. You can have a really good night and then suddenly it's the worst night ever.
Roller coaster.
I had one. It was the Christmas party for Baz and all the bikers. They did the party at Dylan's Brewery.
Oh, yeah.
And who was it playing? The Guitar Heroes, they were playing. It was a really good night when I was at the brewery. When I left, it just completely changed.
Did it all go downhill?
Yeah. For no reason, just that I wasn't in a good headspace anyway. Because when was that? That was just December, Christmas, obviously. The October before was when I broke up with Kerry. So I was just in a bad place and I was drinking too much. And then I was around everyone that I liked, having a good time at a gig. And then suddenly I wasn't around them because everyone was going home. And it's like, oh, I'm drunk and I'm on my own and I don't feel good. And it just went really bad.
Yeah.
So it's just suddenly like one of the worst nights ever.
That tends to be what happens, isn't it? It's that realisation. It's the emotions that it puts you through, because you'll get to a point where some emotions that you've never thought about for a while just creep up and bash you on the head.
Yeah, I was avoiding the situation.
Yeah.
Like most of my mates who were around me around then say that I dealt with the situation really well, and it made me mature a lot more. But really, I was drinking loads. You might think this, I was handling it really well, but think again, like the situation where you saw me, I was drinking.
Yeah, it was in the pub. You're doing really well.
You're doing really
another
well.
beer, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's how it goes, isn't it?
And that particular night, it was a brewery. Like Dylan's Brewery make their own like beers and that, and they've got one particularly nice one, but it's really strong. I only had about 4 of them, and I was smashed. And it hit me more because it was cold outside, and I couldn't get an Uber to there because they're in an industrial estate.
Yeah.
I had to walk from there to Tesco by the Rico.
All right.
Which was it's like a 5-minute walk.
But it's
took me about 25.
It's one of them.
Took me about 25. Yeah.
Like I used to walk
horrible,
home.
Horrible walk, and it was lashing it down as well. So it was proper movie situation. Middle of the movie at the sad bit. It was like one of them.
Yeah. What could make this worse? He goes home and he hates himself. There you go.
Yeah.
And that tends to be what happens.
But I remember getting the Uber, and then that's the rest of the night's gone. Obviously, I got home and got to bed, but that's the part where it's just kind of blackout mode. Don't remember the rest. But well, if I look back on that, I remember that rather than the good part before it, where the gig was happening, and because you came to that was good. And then when you left, people were like dancing and headbanging and whatever. So I joined in on that. But
the main thing about...
And then I was on my own.
You know you've had a good night, even if you don't remember it, if you've got no bruises.
Yeah.
Because you know you didn't damage yourself.
I don't really damage myself much. The only time that I've ever come back from some sort of night out with some sort of damage is because someone else has been a dick and damaged me.
Like I said, my main thing was navigating the road and falling in ditches.
I don't really fall over. I wobble a little bit maybe, but it doesn't hit me like that.
I've got a theory. When you're drunk, right, you're trying to stand up straight, and your brain and your body is pushing you forward, saying that gravity's not real. So what you really need is you need to walk along with a rucksack on with a brick in it to balance you upright.
Gravity's not real, it's only a theory.
Absolutely.
Did you watch the last episode of Conspiracy Theories on YouTube?
No.
Because I conjoined it with a few memes here and there. And there is one particular meme about gravity being a theory.
Oh, you put in all the other little bits, didn't you, and the video shots?
Yeah, I make like a slideshow video, and I put it was this person like drinking a cup of tea or something, and it's like gravity is only a theory, but I don't see you jumping out of buildings.
Yeah. Yeah, go test it. Provable.
Right, so we do paranormal episodes next.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think we should do it. It's becoming a hot topic now with another person who seems to be mentioned a lot in this podcast.
Is it?
Paul Sanders.
Oh,
I
saw his video.
Yeah, he captured a really cool video.
And then he looked up and the lady in red was gone.
Yeah, and he won't disclose the place he was, so neither will I, but it's one of the 12 castles that used to surround Coventry.
Yeah.
And it's been locked up. No one's been there since March, apart from like the owner, who isn't female. Just disclose that. He was allowed to just sort of walk around near it, but not go to it. And he says it on the video that, oh, there's a lady over there, hope that's not a ghost. And then he turns around and pans again, it's gone.
She's gone. I did see that.
If you change the colours a bit and zoom in, it looks like some Victorian woman.
Interesting.
It's quite cool. But yeah, that's he put that on TikTok and it got like 22,000 views, which is a bit nuts. It's gone viral.
But people in two camps about it. There's people that believe and people that don't believe.
Yeah, I'm in two minds.
There you go. Yeah, and you can be in two minds at the same time.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a hot topic. Let's talk about that. Everyone likes ghosts and aliens and all that stuff. Let's talk about that.
Interdimensional beings. There you go.
Ooh. But we'll close this episode out because there's a lot of stories, but it's just a reminiscent chat today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like we're missing the good old days.
Yeah, everyone is. But it's good to just sit and have a conversation, innit?
Absolutely. So, as always, don't be a dick to people.
Don't be a dick to people.
Don't be a dick.
Message us, comment below, go and like the new page on Facebook,
Any ideas?
Yeah, if you have any ideas or you want to be a guest, like we said last time,
More than welcome to do
just drop us a message, either personally or on the page, and we'll sort that out when we're allowed to. We'd like to thank you for listening to this week's episode.
Have a good day.